We're going to start by measuring 1/2 inch on the side that we're going to be sewing, so the side seam. So I mark 1/2 inch. Notice that I'm not on the folded side, I'm on the side with the raw edge. And I marked that with my friction pen. And now I'm going to measure to the edge of my pocket. That says 3 inches, and this is way more than 3 inches. So that means I need to scoot my pocket over. And I'm just going to play around with this until they measure the same on each side. Okay, so I see here I've got about 3.5, and there I have almost 3.5. Okay, so we'll just kind of flatten that out, making it look good. Double check again, make sure we're in a good place. Okay, so 3.5 on both sides. All right, now I'm going to grab my pen again, and I'm just going to mark the sides so that I don't lose that spot. I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. I'm going to measure out a 1/2 inch, and then I want it to be the same distance from the side. So again, it was 3.5, 3.5, and I'm going to measure from the bottom 3.5, make sure it's the same. Now I need to pin that in place, but I only want to pin through one layer of fabric. So I need to lift up my fabric and just pin the pocket and the top layer, not the bottom layer. So you can see this when I do the bottom side as well. I'm lifting it up, I'm only doing that one layer, going through and back out. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing on the last side. So I've got 3 sides pinned down, and I'm only going to sew those 3 sides, not the top. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to do a little bit more marking because I need to reinforce the corners. So I have my friction pen and my seam gauge. I'm going to measure over 3/8 of an inch, and I'm going to mark that on the top. And then I'm going to mark about an 1/8 from the edge because I'm going to sew this at an 1/8. I'm grabbing my ruler and I'm going to connect those 2 dots. Just making sure everything is nice and straight and in position. We'll do that. And then I'll draw my line there and complete the triangle of my marking. Okay, this will give me a guideline. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to start there, go to that corner, come down, pivot, pivot, up, pivot, pivot, pivot. Okay, so that's the path you're going to follow when you sew.